shouting about, madam? What are you shouting about? Huh? What are you shouting about? Look at this morning. Look at this morning. It is pure magnificence. I mean, look at that. Can't even tell you. I can't even tell you. However, this is a bit tricky to see, so I'm just going to nip into the shed to talk to you. So I'm very pleased to say that we are fully mic'd up again. Actually, yesterday it was nowhere near as magnificent as this, but we did have a bit of sunshine yesterday. This arrived at the very 20 minutes after I uploaded last week's video, after having to record the ending with no mic. Yeah, there was a knock on the door and I was like, poo, that was really close. Anyway, we are back to full technology mode. But yeah, so we were up here yesterday and I couldn't get it to work. Not a chance. I couldn't get the two things to pair. Anyway, I won't bore you with the details. I ended up contacting the helpline in China and they were brilliant. So they only work in their office hours, understandably, which is 8 hours difference from us. So it wasn't that easy communicating. But this morning when I woke up, the very nice lady had done a little video at her desk of how to get the two to pair. So well done, Hollyland. I was well impressed with that. Right. But the main news of the day is you can't get a more spectacular day than this. It is the very last day of February and I'm just going to soak it up. We do have some jobs to do this morning. I've got something to do with the red currant. We've got general clearance that needs to happen. Ruby, can you hear that? Can you hear that chicken? Ruby's laid an egg. That's what that is. What's really funny is because you know Ruby's the boss. When anybody else goes in to lay an egg, they just carry on doing whatever they do. If Ruby lays an egg, they all go into the house when she starts crowing about it. Right. I think the first thing I'm going to do, seems we're planning to be up here for a little while today. I think the first thing to do is to get the blackboard in order so we know what we're doing. Brand new piece of chalk, already broken it into 3 pieces, never mind. So prune the red currant and prune the gooseberries. That's one thing we're going to do today. What else we got? Oh, we've got a couple of beds to clear. Ready for picking up some new mulch. Just stop it, Rubes. I know, you laid an egg, good girl. Oh, I've got all this bit to chop back. Let's put that on there. Jasmine. I won't just sit around and enjoy the sunshine, although that's something I suspect I will be doing today. What else have we got to do today, Mum? I've got prune the red currant, prune the gooseberries, clear the beds and chop the jasmine back. The rose. I think we'll start with that. We'll start with that. Oh, actually, something we are going to do is have a look inside the polytunnel because it's so beautiful. It's probably baking hot in there right now. Okay. Oh, it's hot in there. It is hot in there. Whoo, can you feel that? Jeez Louise.
Ooh, this has come off.
Looks great, doesn't it? Yeah, this is looking great. Parsley and coriander looking really fantastic. They're really beautiful looking plants. And we were actually just saying it's not that easy to spot the difference between them, but actually when you get your eye in, it's not too hard. So the parsley, you can see kind of the way the leaves come off the main stem. It's more like this. This one's parsley. And then you've got parsley versus coriander, where they kind of, they I don't even know how to describe it. They're sort of slightly more feathery at the bottom and they come off a bit differently. But yeah, anyway, now we've got our eye in, we can see. The only thing that's not looking great is the chard. Yeah, it is looking absolutely fantastic in here. Everything's growing really well. I mean, we've got pick a load more lamb's lettuce today. The dragon's tongue mustard's looking great. I think you can just about see on the corner there the green wave mustard. We've got pick a load of that. It's all getting so big. The only patch that really isn't looking that great is the bit straight behind me where the chard it's just really struggling. But other than that, it's all looking good. Okay, I'm going to die of heat exhaustion in here. Ooh, it's hot. So this is actually the red currant that I'm going to cut back. And you may notice it is not in the fruit cage. Well, this used to be our red currant that was down when we had the fruit cage down the other end of the plot. And when we moved the fruit cage, we just dug this up and stuck it in here just in case it survived. It had been in the ground a really long time, so it wasn't guaranteed that it would move well. And we thought we would just leave it for the birds. But actually, it had a couple of really poor years, and now it's got all this fantastic new growth on it. But the centre section here is completely dead. It's just dead wood. There's nothing coming on it at all. It's snap dry. So I'm going to take out the middle, and ironically, like having years, you know, I don't know if you ever read like fruit pruning bushes, read fruit bush pruning instructions or books about it or whatnot, and they always talk about the goblet shape, which on the diagram is like a hollow middle, and you have all the outside branches coming up like this, so you've got really good airflow in the middle. It's actually really quite tricky to get them to, you know, to do that. This one has done it on its own. So I'm going to take out the centre and we should be left with that goblet shape. Yeah, that wood is really dead. This one too. This one, oh, not that one, this one. Oh, I just broke one there. But goblet shaped are us. I'm sorry if you can hear the strimmers. They're doing a bit of tree work in the cemetery because a couple have come down in the wind. So sorry if you can hear a chainsaw. But while we are standing here, the pond is looking fantastic right now. So yeah, I know it looks like a bit of a spaghetti mess, but actually the water is absolutely crystal clear. It looks fantastic. And actually we had a very large build-up of grass and fallen leaves and debris all in the centre here. Even though we had the netting over, you know, things still get underneath. And about a week and a half ago, it probably was, I just pulled as much of it as I could out. It wasn't the kind of thing that I could film because it was messy and it was raining at the time and it was horrible weather. But the reason that we did it then was because we actually have a study happening here at the moment. There is a girl who's looking at all the ponds. Oh, don't go in the pond. I don't want to look at it that closely. There's a girl who's looking at all the ponds across our site and doing a study on, well, for a lot of things, amphibians, but specifically newts, because there is a strange lack of genetic diversity between two really quite close allotment sites that just have parkland and ponds and stuff in between. Doesn't seem to be much much movement between the two, so she's trying to find out why. But the reason that we did the pond when we did was because she had predicted that this little burst of warm weather we've been having, it's actually dropped back down now, but like last week, it was like 14 degrees. It was nuts. Rainy, crap, awful, grey, all the rest of it, but it was 14 degrees, and she thought that that might have triggered the first spawning of the frogs. And she was absolutely right. Not in our pond. We're always really late in this pond, but in other ponds it's happened on that exact weekend that she predicted, which was quite impressive. But she had said that it was basically coming, like, so this little warm patch was going to be the start of the spawning, and so if we were going to do anything about the grass, we needed to do it there and then. So that's why we did it and didn't film it and all the rest of it. But yeah, the pond itself is looking fantastic. After us pulling out a bit of that grass, like, the clarity is just wonderful in there. But it's interesting because we are always so much later than, well, particularly there's a pond just there, like, what, probably 100 metres that way maximum. And they always get their frog spawn about 3 weeks earlier than us. But I know obviously frogs return to the same, the place that they come from to spawn generally. So if we just have late frogs, we're going to carry on having late frogs. But it's interesting because you can watch, like, when they get their frog spawn, you know, to start looking out for ours. And we do get frog spawn, but mainly it's toad spawn that we get here. But yeah, the clarity is just wonderful. And we have seen newts in here already this year. Well, since we cleared it out. The snails, just masses and masses and masses of snails. But yeah, really, really happy with how this is looking, and just so chuffed to have got that big raft of grass out the middle. So yeah, hoping to have some more frequent updates on the pond this coming year. It's looking really fantastic, really fab. Right, let's get this dead wood out the way so we don't trip over it, which is my usual technique at the moment. And have a look at some other things that need pruning. So first thing here, we've actually got 2 roses in this little spot. Just battle my way through. Oh, yeah, we've got 2 roses. We've got the one there, which is like a pale, very, very pale shell pink spray rose. And this one, I don't even know where this one came from. Oh, but it's a really strange one because it starts yellow and goes orange, but it's got one big dead branch on it now. Lovely new growth on that side, but this one is completely gone. So I'll just take that off there. I'm going to put that on that side. Mum seems it's so spiky. I'm going to deal with it on that edge. Okay. That should be good. Got loads of new growth on that new branch. And then this one here, I just need to give it a bit of a chop because it grows so much in the summer. Flowers magnificently, and they actually make really quite good cut flower, which is sort of why it's in a really inconvenient space. It really is inconvenient there, but it's a beautiful rose. So I'll just prune it back and we'll try and keep it in check. I'm going to need the secateurs though, not these. I am going to cut some of these lower branches off this just so that we haven't decided what we're going to do with it yet. I'll talk to you, in fact. We haven't decided what we're going to do with this yet. The shape of the tree is so beautiful that I feel like we should do something with it, but I don't know what yet. But the lower branches are all just getting in everybody's way now. So what I'm going to do is just strip the lower limbs so that we keep the shape, but it's not in the way. Oh, it's too sad. Too sad. Hello, gorgeousness. Hello, the gorgeousness. Everybody else coming along? Yeah. You having a lovely time in the sunshine, girlies? Are you having a lovely time in the sunshine? Yeah, Ricky, you are. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Where's the sun gone, chaps? The forecast just had all suns today, but it's actually got, I think it's only just behind a cloud though. But anyway, jumper is back on. Frustratingly, I can't quite reach the back corner of that bay tree. What I need to do is either get the long-handled shears from home or get the longer ladder. So I just can't reach that last bit. So we're going to leave that for the moment and probably do that tomorrow. But what we have decided to do is, you know, the fantastic potatoes of muchliness that we got from Ian, grown local. We've got some left over. I mean, we've given so many away. We've got our own chitting at home, the ones that are going to go into the bed. And then we've got some left over. So we're just going to grow some in the pots. I'm actually going to put them in today and then put them in the greenhouse. So we have got 3, these are the first earlies. We've got 3 Caledonian Pearl and 3 Red Dukes. We've not done anything with the main crop yet. We're not, they go in a bit later. But yeah, okay, so let's get these in. First thing we need to do is go and choose some pots though, because they're going to have to be quite big. Right, get the working station in operation. Oh God, my back is gone from standing on that ladder. I've been doing that on the ladder and it's hurt. Right, so this is a very exciting addition to the greenhouse that we picked up for free. But it's quite heavy and it's just going to go in at the back bit there. Okay. I've just lifted up I've just unclipped all the tiles. Damn. Oops. There we go.
Right, okay. I can put a few things on there.
Yeah. Brilliant. Oh, sunshine's back. Sunshine's back. Okie dokie. So these are the pots we're going to use. I think we'll use the ones with handles. So it just makes them a bit easier to deal with later on. I've actually got 4 of them now. Might be able to do a couple of main crop ones too. Right. This is the 2 pots we're going to use. So we're going to mix up some compost. It's going to be a mixture of old, like reused compost, so stuff that had the chilies and aubergines and things growing in last year, and we've got some new fresh compost of our own, and we've got a little bit of horse manure. We're going to put a bit of bloodfish and bone in there, mix it all up in the wheelbarrow and plonk the potatoes in. Yeah, let's start with that one.
I think that with the other things we're adding, that should probably fill those 2, do you think?
Mm,
Hard to tell. I can't tell actually.
not really, no.
Depending on how much we lose down the hole.
Yeah. We now have a big hole in the bottom of our wheelbarrow, so this could be interesting.
So what else is there?
Right, we need a little bit of, what have we got in these? That's actually what's in that pot. Yeah. So we want some of our own compost. Okay, we need the wheelbarrow to take that down though, don't we? Okay, we are not, so traditionally when you're growing potatoes, you plant the potatoes quite near the bottom and then you let them grow up, and then as they emerge, you cover them up, so it's kind of like makes them grow taller. We're going to do that, but on a very minor scale. So this obviously isn't a full pot. We're going to plant these down. It will settle. And then as they emerge, we'll just put some more compost on. But we're not going to do it right from the bottom, because last time we did that, we never actually ended up topping them up adequately, and they ended up growing in too little soil. So we're going to start them with a good amount of soil and then just top up from there. So I haven't compacted this. This is just still loose. And I'll put them about halfway down the pot. Making sure the bum is the bit that I'm pushing in, so I'm not breaking off any of the tops. There we go. So would you be able to get a label for that? That is the Caledonian Pearl. And next up, just mix up a bit more of that. So because I'm pushing these in, I'm just making sure I'm going bum first. Like I said, quite deep in there. Bum first. As you're going in then, so you'll find that most of the sprouts, so the sprouts come out the top of the potato and then you'll have a bum end. And if you're burying them like that and you kind of crown the top with your hand, you do protect from breaking off those chits. There we go, and a label. Dated, my word. Right, let's get these inside. There we go, we'll just give them a water and that is the first set of potatoes in. Look at that! I don't feel so bad about us running out of phone battery now because it means that we're not going to miss the only day of sunshine on the horizon. Yeah, that looks fantastic! Actually, other than water the potatoes, and I'm not even going to talk about the amount of mess I've made out there with the bay leaves that I haven't gone anywhere near clearing up, but the other thing we need to do before we run out of battery on the phone is I'm going to pick some pak choi. So a whole load of the red choi have gone to seed, which is interesting because actually they tend to not bolt. In my experience, they tend to not bolt anywhere near as quickly as the green ones, but they have finally gone. They've been in there all winter, and I think this burst of warm weather we've had has just sent the poor things over the edge. So I'm going to go and pick what we've got. That's another thing actually which I find the red choi outperforms the green choi on, is that the green choi, the moment it starts going, the bases get really, really tough and stringy and woody. And actually with the red choi, I find most of them still perfectly eatable, even when they are really quite gone like these ones are, which you are about to see, if we can hold the battery life long enough. These here are the purple pak choi. I mean, it's just so beautiful. I mean, what a colour for a vegetable. I love them, they're gorgeous. Anyway, so I've got those purple ones to pick. I've got some Komatsuna, which is just starting to go to flower, and I have the very, very beautiful vivid pak choi, which is also bolted, but I've never tried it before, so we're going to give that one a go too now. Okay, let's take these ones first. You see, like up there, starting to get a little bit more solid down the bottom here, but the leaves will be good and we'll be able to eat the stem up to that point. Unlike the Komatsuna, there is no point leaving a base on these to regrow because they won't, in my experience. I'm going to have to get this one off too. These beauties, this is the vivid pak choi. So it's a type of pak choi, but it doesn't have very pak choi leaves at all. Look at those. They're absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to take these off at the base too. if you catch these, oh, can you see me? I'm going to come down like this. If you catch pak choi earlier in the season and you nip out the centres, they will regrow. It's just that these have already come to an end. I don't know, where am I looking at the camera? Up there. It's a bit difficult upside down. Yeah, so normally I would leave them fully, but we need this bed cleared really. These guys have come to an end, and they would normally regrow, but they're not going to this time. That's why I've left them. I mean, that's why I haven't left them. I've not left them. I'm taking them. I might just leave these ones. We have a lot of them. This is the, oh, hold on. So this is the Komatsuna. This is the one that you can just pick and come again. And I'm not going to do it today because we've actually got a huge amount of these greens to eat tonight. But they're just forming a centerpiece, and I'm going to nip them out at the bottom there, and we might get some more greens off them, but it's unlikely at this late in the year. But yeah, these are the ones which are just like pick and come again. So you pick from the outside and you get beauties in there, but these are only just really starting. So I've got a little bit more time for those because they're going to be better out here than they are kept in the fridge. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my goodness me, that's bright. That is really very bright. Good morning. It is supposed to be magnificently sunny today, but so far we just got like white cloud and mist. However, today is the day of the seed swap, so we are on our way over to Twickenham to set up. I've got my seeds, I've got my camera stand, even got the microphone. I know it's all go. We'll see you over there. Right, we're going in to set up. You've just feeling so nervous that like nobody's going to show up. You know, it's just going to be the four of us stood there in the room for 2 hours. But we have lucked out so much with this fantastic room that we've got at the council chambers. And the sunshine is absolutely beautiful. Okay, the only problem with it though is it's a little bit tricky to find at the back of the building. So, you know, nice bit of cardboard, needs must. And everything's set to go.
Sorry, mate. Yeah, gotcha. Again.
Try again.
Yeah, go again.
Cheers, chaps. That was an absolute triumph. I can't tell you how many fantastic conversations with people I had at that seed swap. All sorts of people bringing all sorts of seed from all over the place. It was really good. And on top of that, you had people who were like I say, people who are really into seed collecting and really quite professional about it. Some of the stuff that people turned up with was incredible. But then you also had a whole set of people who'd never either been to a seed swap before or were only just starting out growing stuff. And it was, yeah, it was a really, really enjoyable couple of hours. And because it was such an enormous success, we will be doing it again next year. Next year, there will be a lot more warning about it because this one was a little bit, I wouldn't say last minute, but it was decided that it was going to happen over, you know, a couple of pints after a meeting at the very end of last year. So yeah, there wasn't a great deal of warning, but next year, seems that one was so successful, we are definitely going to go again. Couple of bits and pieces. I was presented with really quite an incredible drawing by somebody who came. This was Erica, and I mean, look at the detail in here. So we've got the chickens, obviously. Here's me, chard. Look at that. It's obviously peppermint chard. I mean, look at it. It's brilliant. Beans up the arches. The sun's shining. Yeah, I'm really chuffed with that, actually. It's going to go up in the shed, definitely. So thank you very much. And the other thank yous that I must put out are to the people who donated to the raffle. So we had Neil Wacky put some stuff in, Shropshire Seaweed put some stuff in, although that hasn't actually arrived yet. So somebody won the prize and we're hoping that it is actually going to turn up and it is not just a ruse. Dalefoot Composts put some stuff in. We had a couple of relevant books, you know, seed collecting books, and yeah, it was really good. It was really, really good. So yeah, enormous triumph, enormous triumph. And cheers to James, who is the guy who really just pulled it out of the bag. Brilliant. Anyway, yesterday, which was the 2nd of March and the Sunday, I actually took the day entirely off. I did nothing. Yeah, what did I do? I watched basically 2 full series on Prime and Netflix. I just had a complete vegetative day, and then I cooked a roast chicken. So that was the only achievement of the day, was the roast chicken. So today I've had to actually be really on it. And something that I'm going to do before the end of the video is sow some peas. I've got my super fancy root trainers from Grown Local at the ready, already full of compost. And the pea variety that I'm going to sow is Kelvedon Wonder. Normally, I would sow, say, 1 row for now. So that would be 3 slots, like, you know, 3 of these. That would make 1 complete row across our beds. But I've got something in mind for another project. And so I'm actually going to do this entire box of peas. So one of the things that the seed swap kind of forced me into doing was really having a good look at the seed for this coming year. So mainly it was tomatoes, actually. I mean, I've got a lot of other seed which I did put in, like I've got a lot of varieties of Chimney Wrapper that I had in the boxes. So how it worked, how the seed swap functioned, was it didn't have to be like perfect packets of seed that was unopened. It tended to be all open packets, and we just provided like little brown envelopes like this and a ton of pencils. And you could go round and fill however much you needed out of the packet, because obviously when you buy beetroot in a seed packet, you could do an entire field of beetroot with that, and it's just not needed. It's absolutely not needed. And so yeah, it was a good opportunity for people to be able to try out a lot of different varieties. But my main thing that I have a lot of varieties of is my tomatoes, and so I'm not planning to sow my tomatoes until maybe next week. Might be next week or the week after. But I haven't even thought about them. So before the seed swap, I had to actually go through the varieties just to kind of wheedle out the ones that I was pretty sure I didn't want to sow, or looking at ones that I know I want to sow that are really excellent varieties, but that I've got loads of, you know, because I only ever really put either 1 or 2 maximum of each plant in. So there's no point me having 15 seeds for something, even if it's a wonderful tomato. I just, you know, give them to somebody else. So yeah, I managed to do a lot of tomato love spreading at the seed swap, which was incredibly satisfying. And I did pick up a couple of bits myself. I picked up a chili from Bhutan, which I thought was quite good. A guy called Chris, who does a lot of walking, he had picked something up. And what was the other one? The other one was a kale that I believe was Ethiopian. I could be wrong. Now, I am aware that my climate here in Richmond is somewhat different to Ethiopia. Don't get me wrong. I do know that. But, you know, it's worth a go, isn't it? Worth a go for something exciting to grow. But yeah, I can't tell you. I was just really, really chuffed that I was so successful. But like I say, next week, I'm really going to have to put some focus into what tomatoes I actually want to grow. Oh dear, it's that time of year again. Actually, do you know what? March is a mental month for sowing. It's like March and April are the ones where it's just like holy smoke. And it's often like where I try and do a video about, oh, what I'm sowing in March. And actually the blooming video could be about 4 hours long of me just, and I'm going to do this one, and I'm going to do this one, and this needs to be sown this month, and this needs to be sown this month. So yeah, I think I'm going to spread it rather than do one big March sowing video like I did for February. I'm going to spread it a little bit and do sort of my early March sowings and my later March sowings, and I'm going to keep the tomatoes out of it completely and do that as a separate one. So that it's not all just an enormous mass of me chatting for ages. Right, last one. I'm putting 3 pea seeds in each of these. That should do us pretty well. Just plonk them in. And once I've got these in, I'll show you what other things are doing. So actually, I've got to take the flowers off one of my cucumbers. They've just started producing some flowers and I really don't want it. It's way too small to be doing that, so I've got to nip them off, let it put a little bit more time and energy into growing a decent plant. There we go. I'll just get a label for that. There we go. Pencil Kelvedon peas. Right, I only need to put 1 label. Seems they're all the same. Okay, let me show you my cucumbers. Sorry about the paper up against the wall. I've just been recording for Potty Mouth, and where I have to put the camera for the computer, it's just like a blinding white light across my eyes, so I have to put paper up. But this is the cucumber that needs, oh God, that's bright. Let's go over this way. To be deflowered. You see, actually, oh God, there's loads more flowers have come since I last looked. So I'm just going to nip them out. There's no point, this little thing, having all those flowers on there. Take them off. And we just let the plant itself grow up a bit before. Oh my God. Oh, the smell of that. It's like proper intense cucumber smell. Oh, I love it. Right, while we're just over this end of the room, let me show you what's happening with the chilies and the aubergines. So at the far end are the hot chilies and the aubergines, and then moving up this way, there is an aubergine just at the end there, but these are the sweet peppers. So everything is actually coming along really quite nicely. I am having a little bit of a problem with fungus gnats. I don't know if you can see them sometimes when I'm filming the soil. There's just like a little tiny little fly buzzing around over the top. The flies themselves don't do any damage, but they do lay little tiny grubs in the soil that then eat the roots. If you've only got a few of them, and basically if you've ever grown anything indoors at this sort of time of year and not had fungus gnats, I would be incredibly impressed. But when you start getting an awful lot of them, it becomes a problem. And I'm actually going to order some fungus gnat nematodes next week, because if it was later in the season, I would be like, oh, it's fine, I'll just leave it. But we're still so early. We've got a lot of indoor growing to do before, you know, things start getting chucked outside. And fungus gnats don't really survive outside. I mean, you get them outside, obviously, but they don't proliferate in the kind of numbers that they do inside, because they like, obviously, the warmth and the damp compost. So yeah, if I've already got them at this time of year, I think I'm going to have to get some nematodes. So that is on my list for next week. What else is on the list for next week? Well, we were planning on putting the potatoes in at the beginning of March. We've got some phenomenal weather coming up. It has been sunny for like 3 days, and we've got another 3 days left of it. So I hope the weather forecast is not lying to me, because it's one of the reasons why on Sunday I just did absolutely nothing, even though it was beautiful sunshine outside and I did feel terrible about it. I just wanted to do nothing. And if I hadn't known that we had another 4 days of sunshine coming up, then there's no way I would have taken that day to do nothing. But I'm trusting the weather forecast. So I think, chat, we're going to be doing a lot of sowing in the next couple of weeks, a lot of clearing. I still haven't taken that last little bit off the top of the bay tree, which is extremely annoying, but we did come across a bit of an exciting find this morning. We've got 3 more pallets, so I should be able to get the compost bins done next week, which would be really exciting. So yeah, it is all go, and it is March. Okay, so it's not officially spring, but basically it's spring. It's spring. Cheers, chaps. See you next week.